Well, holy moly, what a week. It's been a week since we last chatted on here. A number of things have gone on, and I just kind of want to go through a lot of things globally, nationally, and locally, because this has turned the whole globe on its head with what's going on. So I want to get to a number of things in this, which is talking about some specific local companies and some things that are happening, some local opportunities financially for people, and then some global things that are going on, as well as then some national financial things with the $2 trillion relief package that passed the House on Friday, and kind of what that means, and then what's going on in some different markets that we're dealing with here. As everyone has known and has been affected, there's been a number of companies that have had to lay off and furlough people, which is incredibly difficult, obviously for the employees themselves, but also for the companies, because no one wants to do this, and it means a much greater effect. So I know that we're all supporting as much as we can for, think of the restaurant and hospitality industry, for example. But this has really just permeated every nook and cranny of our life. And, and restaurants is one of the big things. So New Waterloo is a company in Austin that runs a lot of restaurants that we, Sway, La Condesa, Il Bruto. They also operate Butler Park Pitch and Putt, which they recently won the bid for the operating of that. They had to furlough 550 of their employees. But they're doing some neat things to try and help out. They're doing a online telethon with the goal of raising $125,000 for their staff over the next 2 months. So that's super neat. They've already raised over $50,000, I believe, out of that goal, which is great. Their president, Delfo Trombetta, is kind of orchestrating all of this and figuring things out for the employees. And I know that a lot of restaurant groups, other restaurant groups in Austin, are doing things whatever they can, because they've also been in a similar situation. We've been in this shelter-in-place order in the city, just like many other cities nationally and internationally. And that's affecting everything in different ways. One of the biggest repercussions that it's had too in Travis County is that there was a construction ban placed across anything involving existing construction, unless it's Austin Community College or AISD, or correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's related to affordable housing, they can continue. This was something that, we're navigating uncharted territory in every way through all of this, right? So Mayor Adler and the city council have gotten a lot of pushback on this, because it's affected a lot of people. I mean, there's no cranes operating. The whole city's kind of come to a screeching halt in that regard, which is very new for us, operating a burgeoning, bustling metropolis, and now is it a complete showdown. So there's a lot of the construction companies are still wanting to continue their work, because they're like, well, a lot of our projects we're working at a distance anyways. People are doing their own thing. Some people may be welding, some people may be doing a different thing, but basically the county has put a stop to it. So we'll kind of see how that develops, but that's really affected a lot of people. And affected the pace at which, especially Austin's commercial growth is going. So, got to be on the lookout for that in what's going on. They're just kind of wanting to reverse that slowdown. A lot of people are asking about the residential real estate market and kind of what's happening. There's been a pretty dramatic slowdown, if I had to generalize, about things going on in that. Austin is included in that. We've had fairly stable showings and closings, and things go under contract, kind of similar to, if we're looking at just at last week, year over year, those were pretty on trend, didn't really go down too much, but a lot of those were existing. So this week and next week are really going to be the gauge of how is this really impacting things. I think that we're all trying to move forward with our everyday life in whatever semblance that we can. And so, just keep in mind, for a lot of people, they sold their house already, right? Or they're moving from another city and they have to find a home. So a lot of people think it's irrelevant to post, homes for sale or, especially luxury, but really at every level of the market, people are still shopping and looking. Some of them are not. Some of them have frozen that process. Some of them are changing their price point. Just everyone's situation is super, super different. If you have questions about putting your house up for sale, or when, or taking it off the market, or you're looking to buy, let me know, because really there isn't an answer that applies to everything. It varies very much on the area, the type of house, what your objectives are, kind of what you have to prioritize, which is going to kind of change what I would strategize for you. So just let me know. I'm always happy to be a sounding board about that. Also on that housing note, a really important thing is that not only wrapped up in the federal stimulus, the $2 trillion stimulus that was signed off now by Trump, but there's a lot of implications for your mortgage. So if you already own a home or a condo now, you can definitely, if you have reason to, if you've been affected by this, you can renegotiate either your mortgage payment for an amount of time, or you can defer it completely. Just over communicate with who your lender is and work something out, because it could be reduced. It could be put off for a year altogether in some cases, but just communicate. Don't just ghost them. This goes for your utilities. This goes for your car lease payment or ownership payment of a car. This goes for anything. And for if you're renting, this also applies, because if you're renting in a house where they may have a mortgage on, they're probably getting mortgage relief too, right? So communicate with them, negotiate, be like, I can pay this month, but next month I don't know. They want to help you out. I think this is unifying in a lot of ways, of people wanting to help how they can, and if they can. So I would just look out for that, because there has to be a lot of relief coming. I mean, Cheesecake Factory nationally was like, we ain't paying next month, just FYI. I mean, the commercial people are extremely, extremely hard hit. I mean, we think of these companies as being just big money pits, and so, but they also have massive commercial leases that they pay every single month for these restaurants, just as our local restaurants, more often than not pay a massive lease, and they've had their income, drop out of that. So just, keep everything in perspective, and support everyone. Just kind of a side note, support when you can. You don't have to have a gun to my head to go out to eat, but when you do go out to eat, be sure you're tipping them too, because this is the time when people in the service industry especially need that gratuity the most, because it's a special circumstance for all of us, right? There's some interesting things going on dollar-wise too that I want to talk about. So the Austin Economic Development is offering, so as a part of the stimulus, there's small business administration loans that could be over $1 million. Just depends on need and how you've been affected. But Austin is offering loans. The city of Austin is offering loans up to $35,000 to businesses impacted by coronavirus. So there is a little bit of a caveat here that can't be a multi-level marketing business. So if you're slinging fit tea on Instagram, you're out. Adult entertainment, cannabis, or firearms are all ineligible for the city of Austin business. That does not mean that those are out for the SBA loans. But the way this is basically, it's part of housing and urban development, but City of Austin is the one reviewing and approving these applications, and they can be up to $35K. They're going to be on a low interest rate, 3.75%, if you're an eligible small business. And this has been amended to be like barbers, hairdressers, or sole, like my own company and I'm the only employee kind of thing. If you're in that boat, then this applies to you too. So there's a $300 application fee for this, but that could be reduced or waived, again, depending on the situation. And if you have any questions about that or want to know how to do it, DM, text, email me, and let me know. Comment on this, and I can send that information privately over to you. Also, look out for the SBA loans that are coming through. They just released today that the disaster loan is a part of the $2 trillion relief package. Is something that independent contractors and sole proprietors are eligible for. And while that process may take a little bit of while, to get that all approved and dispersed, that you can have up to $10,000 as an advance that you could receive in about 3 days. And it's like as a grant. So A lot of options. Again, let me know and I can send you all the specifics over for that, but you can apply at covid19relief.sba.gov in short, but I can send you some more instructions too. I'm sure you've also heard that they've extended the tax filing deadline for 2019 tax year for July 15th instead of April 15th, just around the corner. If you are expecting on getting a refund, I'll say like everyone else has said, file that now and be happy about that, that you get money back. Also the eligibility and setting up direct deposit for the relief check, depending on if you're eligible or not. Those are going to be coming out here a little bit soon. But basically we're all navigating this as we can, as we go along. So if you have questions about anything in particular, especially in, real estate, I love to talk about it, and I strategize and kind of scenario plan about how things are going to pan out, and where we're going. Always love to chat. But we're all in it together. We'll figure it out, and stay healthy, and I'll talk to you next week.